Hey, it's me, Maggie J. Today with a recap and review of the 6th episode of Reservation Dogs Season 2. This one is called Decolonativization. The kids are back this week, attending a little conference of their own in the IHS building, where a couple of influencers teach the youth how to shake off the colonial coil. Or some shit. Bear's mother Rita is making him attend because she has to work this event, and she's not letting him out of her sight after she found out he had a house party last week while she was away at her IHS conference. So all the youth are invited to this gathering, and pretty much all the kids that we know show up, mostly for the $15 Sonic's gift cards, but they've got to make it to the end of the day to get the reward. Rita knows how to create a captive audience. This gathering is called Native American Reclamation and Decolonization Symposium, or NARDS, as Bone Thug Dog yells out. Is this a callback to the Heart Nard, the spirit referenced in the Mabel episode? I don't see how, but I could be easily influenced to believe that. P.S. I finally figured out which one is Bone Thug Dog and which one is Wheeze. Thank you, closed captioning. Anyway, Fixico opens this symposium with a prayer. He asks everyone to join hands with the person next to them, then turn to face each of the 4 directions. It goes about as well as you'd expect, and it really sets the tone for the rest of the gathering. The special guests today are a woman named Miss Matriarch, spelled in the most Twitter way possible, because the usual way to spell it was already a name in use, and a guy named Augusto Firekeeper. Miss Matriarch is a PhD student at Dartmouth, and she calls herself an auntie, a beater, a sister, and a friend. And, okay, didn't know we were calling ourselves aunties at such a young age, or that we should include our Neanderthal ancestors and the dinosaur nation, the star people, and our reptilian relatives above and below the earth in our blessings. I really learned a lot from her, so snaps for that. She'd make a good politician with the way she's able to use buzzwords and redirection and even just ignoring contrary feedback so she doesn't have to answer the tough questions about her methods and knowledge base. Great job, girl. Very entertaining. Miss Matriarch is played by Amber Midthunder, who is riding high from her starring role in the recent Prey movie. I loved how well she played this role of someone with the right intentions, but not quite the right resume to back it up. I can't call her a pretendian, but she's not really the kind of person who should be educating the native youth on decolonization, or nativization, even. She's a city Indian, as Willie Jack calls her, but she was genuine, believing every bit in herself and what she said, and she did have some funny lines. Augusto had a smaller role, yet somehow his ego was humongous. His resume includes being a model, actor, poet, hat maker, and young elder. I bet this works on non-natives, but I cannot take him seriously. He may be an influencer online, but these kids are quick to let him know he has no influence on them. They've never heard of him. Anyway, during the symposium, they all have to do a number of tasks that require them to be vulnerable and supportive of each other. Throughout the day, there are several instances that kind of lower the walls the dogs and the mafia have built between themselves. They talk about their happiest memories. They do a potato dance, and Willie Jack and White Steve are really in rhythm together. Bear and Jackie wind up winning for keeping the potato between their foreheads the longest. They have Indian tacos for lunch, and Elora brings Bear an extra fry bread. Aww. This fry bread looks so good. I can't believe Rita and Bev pass on it because Bev thinks this chick put medicine in the beans for snagging her boyfriend and son in the same week. She must not have had her socks on. Back to the activities, Elora guides Bear through a maze while blindfolded, and she is really working hard at trying to repair the friendship. Throughout the whole season, really. And it seems by the time they win this event, Bear might be coming around to actually talking to her. But the last task really ruined all of the goodwill and potentially friendly actions that happened between the 2 gangs so far. Willie Jack and Jackie are asked to do a trust fall, where Jackie is supposed to fall into the arms of Willie Jack. Jackie doesn't trust, but Willie Jack says she's not going to jeopardize her Sonic's card. She'll do it, but she doesn't, and yells, "That's for jumping my bro," as Jackie falls to the floor. Jackie is obviously pissed, but Willie Jack pours gas on the fire and tells Jackie she better go get her brother. Jackie runs away because, as we've learned, Jackie's brother has recently died. Bone Thug Dog informs Willie Jack of that fact, and Elora chimes in with, "like Daniel." And you can tell this makes Willie Jack regret her words. She truly did not know and thought she was just getting some retribution on one of their enemies. But she's also the only one still carrying this grudge against Jackie. Finally, at the end of this symposium, Cheese asks what Miss Matriarch means by decolonization, and she gives the dictionary definition, but he wants more specifics. How does what they did today lead to decolonization, or teach them how to do that? Augusto steps forth with a mouthful of words that don't amount to any kind of meaning, and Bear says as much. Miss Matriarch agrees, and then basically tells them that they're welcome for her being able to open their mind to start asking those kind of questions, and to keep on doing that. Augusto closes out the symposium with the most ridiculous poem and a little dance. Even Dr. Kang looks uncomfortable. Out in the lobby of the IHS building, Jackie is sitting at her Aunt Bev's desk while Willie Jack comes around the corner and tries to apologize to her about what she said. Jackie tells her she better watch her back. After the summit is over and everyone gets their gift cards and heads outside, Elora asks Bear and Cheese if they've seen Jackie and says what Willie Jack said to Jackie was fucked up. Bear can't believe she's taking Jackie's side, and he finally says all of the things he's been wanting to say to her since she left. He says Willie Jack was just being loyal, something she wouldn't know anything about. She's too busy trying to make everyone get along, and she hasn't even apologized to him for leaving, so she's gonna wind up just like her grandma, alone until it's too late. Whoa, bro. That's a step too far, and Elora tells him about how childish he's been, about all of this, because he's only focusing on himself. She apologizes for hurting him, but she does not regret leaving him behind, and then tells Bear not to talk to her for a while. Later on at home, Elora is enjoying her Sonics, watching a show until she hears something in her grandma's room. As she gets closer, singing grows louder until she turns the light on in Mabel's room, and then it stops. She shuts the door and goes back to the living room, looking all around, and the blanket that she was cuddled up with is now missing from the sofa. And that's the end of the episode. There's been a shift in attitude by the end of this one. I think the battle lines are being drawn, and some people are going to have to take sides to not be ostracized. I had my hopes up for this whole season that the kids would get over their issues and become one big friend group, but I know that that's not going to happen. There's too much pain that hasn't been processed well. When Elora said, like Daniel, after Bone Thug Dog said Jackie's brother died, does she mean Jackie's brother also killed himself? That's an interesting detail there, and if so, these two women are in the same dang shoes, which makes their rivalry even more sad and unnecessary. More and more, Elora is being shown she's really only happy when she's alone, ignoring everyone else. And if she's now living in a haunted house, it's looking more and more like she's going to take her inheritance, disappear to California alone, and never look back. Overall, I give this 4 stars. I really enjoyed the special guests, even if they were less native than anyone else in the room. Yes, even less than Dr. Kang and White Steve. I hope the IHS director guy got what he wanted out of them since he's been DMing them for 2 years to come here. I think this episode is a bit of a warning flag to be careful who you put your faith in, that those you think are sacred and knowledgeable might turn out to be less than what you'd expect. Not everyone that's up for hire is worth the money they demand, no matter how big their following is. There's 4 more episodes left, so there's still plenty of time for anything to happen. I can't wait to watch. But that's all I have to say about this for now. Thank you so much for watching. Please like or subscribe if you feel so inclined. Until next time, y'all stay safe out there.